speak about the Marines, the leadership and everything we had on the ground, it was always second to none. Within the Marines, you know, the officers and the leaders amongst us were absolutely fantastic, and I'd never have a bad word to say about them. When you bring in the government and the political side of things, I could tell you a million stories where things were inadequate and things didn't go right and things weren't planned properly. Even now, 11 years after I got blown up, I'm still fighting for compensation now.
So starting my first gig, so the idea was to put a student night on at the Hacienda on a Monday night. So firstly, my biggest mistake was I chose the date the 4th of July. There were no students here on the 4th of July. They've all gone home. They finished their exams. So that was the first big error. The second big error, and actually the contract is in there. It's still on the wall in the office at home. They charged me £1,000 plus VAT for a Monday night in 1994.
Certainly in sport, people talk about talent all the time, but you know, I trained with so many people who were wildly talented but didn't have the kind of the ability to stick with something for long enough or make difficult decisions. I think that's a big part of it as well, knowing when you need to find someone else to coach you or have someone else come into the team, or you know, that sort of thing. So yeah, I think there's a whole host of factors, but I think having passion for what you do is number one, certainly.
But for us, it's really important that we have a local voice, and I'm really concerned if that local voice disappears. And you know, we do need to be able to keep things on record and to hold people to account. And if there are fewer journalists doing that great work in our city or our region, we are all going to be poorer for that. And I think that's a real concern. And I think, you know, it's not just Liverpool or Merseyside that's seeing that. Lots of regions across the UK are noticing that now. And I think some of the local papers that we, you know, maybe we don't read as often as we used to, but when they're gone, they're gone. And when you notice your local radio station is actually playing a lot of syndicated programmes that aren't local and rooted in your area, that's when you realise that you as an individual have lost a little bit of your voice.
Yeah, so that was a hugely significant thing, and there's a number of, we've been relatively on the periphery, but we have been working through the Northern Powerhouse partnership with Yorkshire on the various different iterations of whatever that devolution deal was going to look like, and the sort of internal politics within the wider county held back, continued to hold it back, but they came up with a pragmatic solution in the end, which is going to be hugely important. I think for those places that are going to thrive coming out of this are almost certainly those places which take control of their own destiny.
Oh, God, blimey, let me remember this. Jimmy White. So what happened was he was in one of my colleagues was a snooker fan, and he was the big Jimmy White fan. And there was an article in the Sunday Times in February, I think it was the 16th of February 1998, and it was saying Jimmy White's life's over. And I'm going to run out of fingers now, but it said he's got alcoholism. He's an addicted gambler. He's taking cocaine. He's bankrupt. He's lost his world ranking. He's got testicular cancer. He's taking Prozac for depression. His wife's kicked him out of the house. That's 8 fingers. There'll be others. And my mate, spontaneously over the weekend, when he read this story on Sunday, he spent the day with me, and I was telling him about this thing I was studying, 1998, and how excited I was.
I think we did do things differently. There's some big names, amazing companies. You had Liz, obviously Liz Taylor and Julie Perry in the private sector, and very notorious and amazing at what they do. You had WRG, which is like the global corporates. We were a bit hybrid at that time because we were doing some private parties, but actually mainly corporate.
It's never been a question of cities versus towns. It's both of them, actually. And, when we talk about an industrial policy, when we talk about skills, when we talk about an economic geography, it's about how all parts of that economic geography can be encouraged to achieve its full economic potential. And part of the problem for me, I can say this now at one level, is that places, and I'm not referring at all to Greater Manchester in this, but I see it more and more now since I departed from the public sector.